Wow, after failed negotiations with Canelo Alvarez, payday, you want payday, I know that. And Caleb Plant, it looks like Canelo Alvarez may move out of the weight class to fight Dimitri Bivol. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel. Yo, throw a like on this video if you enjoy the content. I drop daily heat for your viewing pleasure, and the likes help others identify this video as content they may be interested in. If you're interested in boxing, the sweet science, this is your one-stop shop. Canelo Alvarez, he's in the news. He says buenos dias. He's, I guess, all smiles after his fight with Caleb Plant fell through. Now, I already made videos about that. That's why you guys got to check my channel for the latest and greatest. According to Caleb Plant, he had signed on for the Canelo fight 2-3 weeks ago, a few weeks ago, and he agreed to the money part. He says his side, PBC, Premier Boxing Champs, they were gonna give a fair deal to both Canelo and Caleb Plant. More money than Caleb Plant has ever made in his career. More money than Canelo has ever been guaranteed in his career. Somehow, some way, Canelo still turned it down. And, you know, first there was a multiple fight deal, then they changed that, and then Canelo wanted other things changed. And you could check some of the past videos, but from what Caleb Plant is saying, it got kind of tedious, and Canelo started breaking down and nitpicking. He wanted parts of the live gate, he wanted this, he wanted that, and some of the demands were rather peculiar, but not peculiar if you follow Canelo's career, because he's done this, like the gamesmanship and same-day rehydration clauses and things like that. Namely, one of the clauses that Caleb Plant says, and he says he has the receipts for this, he says that Canelo wanted 40 million guaranteed, which is how much he was going to get. Even if Caleb Plant got injured or sick, he wanted PBC to still pay him that amount of money, even with the substitute replacement opponent, as opposed to postponing the fight, similar to when Tyson Fury tested positive for the Rona. So massive fight, undisputed fight, and they were willing to pay him 40 million plus all this back end money and percentages of the live gate and Mexico rights pay-per-view, and that wasn't good enough. He also wanted something that stipulated if Caleb Plant got sick or injured, like, so let's say if he got the Rona or just got sick or, you know, broke his toe and he couldn't fight on September 18th, Canelo wanted to still fight that day against a alternate opponent for the same money, which is, you know, is ridiculous. Fast forward to the future. Saul Canelo Alvarez team have already contacted Dimitri Bivol about the world title fight, right? So he said it's a great test for Dimitri. Now, Canelo would have to move up to 175 where Bivol is a champion. Stylistically, I don't see this being a fun, scintillating fight to watch based on the two styles. Dimitri Bivol has called out Canelo for some time. The great Ego Stradamus strikes again. I told you that they were saying if the Caleb Plant fight fell through, that it would be likely Dimitri Bivol or Artur Beterbiev is next up and next in line for Canelo to fight, possibly Triple G. I told you on my channel that it probably wasn't going to be Triple G. And if I had to pick between Bivol and Beterbiev, knowing Canelo, he would pick Dimitri Bivol, who hasn't even really looked good in his recent performances, even though Artur Beterbiev didn't really look great in his last performance coming off the pandemic either, but he's still a knockout artist at a higher weight class, right? Dimitri Bivol, you know, Jean Pascal, a lot of people thought he was going to get eliminated by Bivol, and he went the distance. So when it comes to pure power and stuff like that, I think Artur Beterbiev at the higher weight is the more dangerous guy. They're both champions, but stylistically, Beterbiev has the power to ice guys and hurt guys. He's hurting guys at 175. I mean, I could show you his knockout percentage. So right here, you see Artur Beterbiev. He has 16 fights, all 16 by knockout. So he's more dangerous if you're a smaller guy moving up, because you can't make any mistakes with him. You know, you can't make any mistakes at all. And he beat Kovalev twice in the amateurs. He has as a champion, he has a 100% KO ratio. Now, he hasn't fought anyone with the experience of Canelo as a pro. However, he does have a credible win with Vodstick. That was in 2019. That was a good fight. And this is an Olympian. And he, like I said, in the amateurs, he also beat Sergey Kovalev twice, right? Now, I told you Canelo wasn't going to fight Beterbiev. He would go with Bivol, which stylistically is more of a boring fight, a slower paced fight, and you don't have to worry about that shock one punch knockout power, right? And then now look at it, says Saul Canelo Alvarez team have contacted Bivol. So Canelo's moves are becoming all too predictable. I keep predicting this. And it's sad because he clout chased Caleb Plant's name, right? As the A side. He keeps saying he wants to fight Beterbiev, Exhibit A. So you guys see, this is DAZN News. It says Canelo Alvarez. Tell Canelo Alvarez how dangerous Artur Beterbiev is, and he'll want the fight, says Eddie Hearn. So this was just July 1st. It's still the month of July, right? It's the end of July, and the heading says, again, tell Canelo Alvarez how dangerous Artur Beterbiev is, and he'll want the fight, says Eddie Hearn. Now, with the Caleb Plant fight officially breaking off, it looks like Canelo's going to stay on DAZN, the company that he included in his lawsuit when he sued Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya. Eddie Hearn claims that Beterbiev is dangerous, and Canelo's team has thrown around Beterbiev's name, saying that they would fight Beterbiev, and they sent him a contract, and then Beterbiev rebuked that, and his team says, hey, Canelo will be waiting. I made videos about all this, right? And it just looks like a setup. It says, we want to make a call probably next week on the Canelo fight in September. I think the talk about 175 pounds were in Mexico, right? If we can't get the Caleb Plant fight, obviously we need another dance partner for September. He's not going back to 160 pounds ever. So when he only needed one belt to become undisputed, which was to go through Demetrius Andrade or fight his mandatory Jamal Charlo, Canelo chose to move up to 175 and evade those fights. So he could have fought those guys at 160 or before that at 154. He didn't do that, right? And now he's saying that Eddie Hearn's saying, who's promoting with him, says he'll never go back to 160. So same thing. He said he wanted to be undisputed at 168. You're one belt away, but you don't want to fight Caleb Plant, or you have all these demands to the point where the fight falls apart. Bad look. It says, so his choices are to defend these champions at 168, but I think he prefers to take on champions, right? You know, you have Joe Smith, you have Dimitri Bivol, and you have Artur Beterbiev, right? Joe Smith Jr., another insane puncher, right? So both Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. have the most cracks. Conveniently, very predictable behavior from Canelo. He would pick the champion who's good, he's solid, but he also has the least aggressive power punching style at the higher weight. And it says Dimitri Bivol is all the easiest fight to make because he works with us. But Beterbiev, look, but Artur Beterbiev, Canelo talks about that, and he knows how hard Beterbiev punches, and Canelo's a competitor. Now you tell them that's not the fight to take, he'll want to take it. You tell him it's a dangerous fight, he'll want to do it. It's a very, very risky move, moving up to 175. And still young. Beterbiev is aging, but still in his prime, blah, blah, blah. So none of that is here nor there, because in true predictable fashion, Eddie Hearn is telling you Canelo wants the dangerous fights. But after the Caleb Plant fight, which I think stylistically is dangerous for him, some people even thought Billy Joe Saunders was winning a bunch of rounds. So Caleb Plant, I think, is better than Billy Joe Saunders at 168 and a more proven champion. The Uzcategui win alone is better than anything Billy Joe Saunders did at 168. His promoter, Eddie Hearn, is telling you he wants better Biev, right? Canelo's team has said, look, Canelo wants super fights with Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. So conveniently, he goes after the one that isn't hitting harder. So no, all the good fight like David Benavidez, Jamal Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, fights people have wanted to see for years, Gilberto Zordo Ramirez, that would be very festive on Mexican Independence Day weekend, and he chooses yet another. I mean, it's not set in stone, but it tells you Canelo has contacted Dimitri Bivol, so he chooses another Eastern European, and he chooses the one that doesn't hit as hard as the other one in a move up. I mean, this is bad. Let me see what people are saying. So Caleb Plant spewed it. The fight's not happening isn't Plant's fault, right? See, look, Plant closed his side of the deal weeks ago and was set to earn $10 million. In the end, Canelo and PBC couldn't come to an agreement that they thought they had a deal last week. So I don't believe Canelo even was really going to do this fight with Caleb Plant, because now conveniently Bivol's right there. So he had Eddie Hearn in his ear, right? People are delusional. Someone said, prefer this to Plant fight. This is a super fight. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how many views this does. Listen, we'll see. And the other thing is, Canelo doesn't have a dance partner that will help him sell it. So it all has to fall on Canelo and the app. So good luck with that. To me, I'm not keen on the Dimitri Bivol fight. Like, I would really rather see him fight Zordo Ramirez, Joe Smith Jr., Artur Beterbiev, because skillfully, even if some of those guys aren't on Canelo's skill level, they have menacing power to the point where one punch could change everything. So that could create predicaments, and see how tight Canelo's defense would be, etc. Dimitri Bivol, if you watch his recent fights, I would say stylistically, that's not going to be really an appealing fight to watch, and this is typical Canelo behavior. I also think Caleb Plant fight stylistically, that American style. And it's funny because Oscar De La Hoya's dad came out and says Canelo struggles with black fighters, which is hilarious. And Caleb Plant, although he's a Caucasian fighter, he has almost like a black style or a very American style. And this is conveniently the fights that don't happen. So let me know what you guys think. Canelo versus Bivol looks very likely. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Use my link in the description to get TubeBuddy. We working.